Who gets exempted from security checks at the airport? Imagine it is morning time. There is a long line of passengers at Delhi's Indira Gandhi International Airport. Someone has a laptop bag in hand, someone has small children along, and on someone's face, the fear of missing the flight is clearly visible. The crowd is slowly moving toward the security check. People are removing belts, placing bags in trays, separating mobiles, and checking the boarding time on the screen again and again. Meanwhile, a convoy enters from a separate gate of the airport. There is neither such a line, nor the same wait, nor the same checking as regular passengers. In just a few minutes, the vehicle reaches near the aircraft. This is the very scene that creates a question in the mind of the common man. After all, who are the people who get exempted from security checks at the airport? Is this a privilege, a protocol, or a part of security? This story is not just about VIP culture. This is a story of a system built between airport security, national protocol, diplomatic rules, and threat perception, which a common passenger often does not see but certainly feels. For a regular passenger, the airport journey begins from the check-in counter. Then there is the process of baggage drop, security check, boarding gate, and finally reaching the aircraft. The most important part of this entire process is the pre-embarkation security check. In this very step, the passenger and cabin baggage are inspected so that the safety of the aircraft and passengers is maintained. Many times, the crowd at the airport is so high that the security check becomes a patience test. Especially at busy airports like Delhi, Mumbai, Bengaluru, and Hyderabad, the queues can be long. But every individual does not have to pass through the same route. A separate protocol has been made for certain constitutional authorities, foreign dignitaries, and security-protected personalities. It is important to understand this point, that such an exemption is not given like a private luxury. According to public records, such exemptions have been given on grounds like protocol requirements, threat perception, and diplomatic reciprocity. Protocol means managing the movement of a post in a different way, keeping in mind its constitutional dignity and official responsibility. This is not personal pomp, it is an arrangement connected to the post. Threat perception means how high a person's security risk is. If a specialized agency is already handling a dignitary's safety, then the airport movement also happens with that very coordination. Diplomatic reciprocity means that foreign dignitaries can be treated in the same manner as decided in international protocols and bilateral arrangements. Therefore, when a big constitutional official comes to the airport, their movement is kept separate from the regular passenger flow. Its purpose is to avoid crowds, reduce security risks, and maintain the official schedule. At the very top come the highest constitutional offices of India, like the President, Vice President, and Prime Minister. For them, airport movement is not ordinary travel, it is a part of national protocol. Along with them, security teams, protocol officers, airport authorities, and multiple agencies work in coordination. The route to reach the aircraft is planned beforehand, and the movement is conducted in a very controlled manner. Similarly, there are special arrangements for foreign heads of state and heads of government as well. If the President or Prime Minister of another country comes to India, their reception at the airport happens according to diplomatic protocol. In such cases, escort vehicles, a security convoy, and controlled access to the aircraft are no surprise. This is a part of international practice because both timing and security are critical in dignitary movement. There is also a category in which certain personalities might get an exemption from security checks, but escort vehicle or full convoy access is not automatically available everywhere. In this, categories like former presidents, former prime ministers, the Chief Justice of India, the Lok Sabha Speaker, and some other high constitutional positions have been listed in public records previously. But one thing should be clearly understood here. Exemption from security checks and permission to go from a car to the aircraft are not always the same thing. The airside area of the airport is a very sensitive zone. Airside is that part where aircraft are parked, refueling takes place, ground staff works, baggage loading happens, and technical operations run. Entry here is given only with permission. Therefore, a car going up to the aircraft is no ordinary drop-off. For such movement, coordination among the airport operator, security agency, protocol team, and operational control is essential. In some media reports, this arrangement has been described in different categories. Somewhere there is full escort movement, somewhere only the dignitary's car gets permission, and somewhere state-specific protocol applies. State-specific protocol means that posts like governor, lieutenant governor, or chief minister can get special movement at the airport of their own state or union territory. But this does not mean that they can automatically use the same privilege at the airport of any state. In another state, the protocol can be different, and the movement may happen through a ceremonial lounge or a designated route. This distinction is necessary because the general audience often thinks that once a VIP status is received, the same facility must be available at every airport in the country. The reality is more layered than this. In airport security, one rule always remains at the top: operational safety. The movement of every vehicle around the aircraft is controlled. A vehicle parked in the wrong place can also become a safety risk. On the runway, taxiway, and apron area, aircraft movement can change in seconds. Therefore, special permits, trained drivers, and airport rules are essential for airside vehicle access. Today, technology is also increasing at airports. Systems like airport entry permits, biometric access, and RFID-based vehicle control help in regulating sensitive zones. In other words, if a vehicle goes up to the aircraft, it also goes inside a monitored system. This is not an open path where any vehicle can directly reach the plane. Now the question comes, if some people have an exemption from security checks, is safety compromised? The answer to this is not that simple. Security exemption does not mean that the system ignores them. Often, such dignitaries are already under a high-level security cover and their movement happens in a separate security bubble. Their personal security, route security, and aircraft side coordination are planned beforehand. Making them stand in a queue like a regular passenger can sometimes increase the security risk. Suppose a high-risk protectee is made to stand in a crowded terminal queue. There will be hundreds of unknown people, there will be uncontrolled movement, and threat management can become difficult. That is why, in some cases, separate movement actually makes security easier. The crowd is less, the route is controlled, and it gives predictability to the agencies. But on the other side, public perception is important too. When a regular passenger stands in a long line and sees a convoy going straight to the aircraft, a question of inequality arises in their mind. They feel that the rules are only for common people. This very feeling generates public anger against VIP culture. This is why transparency is necessary in a democracy. If exemptions are clearly connected to protocol, security, and diplomatic necessity, public trust is maintained. But if the system starts looking like a personal privilege, it is natural for questions to arise. In India, the responsibility framework for airport security is connected to multiple agencies. The Bureau of Civil Aviation Security regulates aviation security standards and rules. The airport operator manages ground arrangements. Security personnel like the CISF handle passenger screening and terminal security at many airports. Protocol teams coordinate dignitary movement. When a high dignitary travels, all these agencies do not run separately. A planned movement is created, so that flight operations, passenger movement, and security all remain in balance. For a common passenger, the airport is a travel point, but for dignitary movement, the airport becomes a sensitive security location. This very difference makes the entire arrangement distinct. There is another interesting layer to this topic: spouse exemptions. In older public records, there has been a mention of accompanying spouses in certain categories. Meaning, in some cases, the spouse can also get an exemption along with the official. Categories like the president's spouse have also been coming up in public discussion. But in such matters, current applicability depends on official orders and updated instructions. Therefore, considering any list as a permanent truth is not correct. Aviation security rules can be updated according to time, threat levels, and government reviews. Many times, in extraordinary security situations, normal rules can be tightened as well. Measures like additional checks at the airport, visitor entry restrictions, or secondary checks can be implemented. In other words, exemption does not mean that aviation security always remains the same. The security system is dynamic, and agencies can change steps according to the threat assessment. Now the curiosity is, what should the common man learn from this topic? First thing, the long line at the airport is not just an inconvenience, it is a part of the safety system. Second thing, every special treatment is not corruption or a show-off. Some special movements happen because of security protocol, because both threat and responsibility are different at certain positions. Third thing, public accountability is necessary too. If there are exemptions, their basis should be clear. The logic behind why a certain category is exempt should be understood by the public. In many countries of the world, there is a different airport protocol for high office holders. The only difference is that in mature systems, it is explained as an institutional necessity, not a personal privilege. In a large democracy like India, this balance is even more difficult. Here security threats are also real, the population is also large, and public sensitivity is also very strong. When a regular passenger stands in line, they are only worried about their own flight. but the airport system has to look at every flight, every gate, every aircraft and every risk together. Therefore, to understand the exemption from security checks, one has to look at the entire security architecture, not just the airport line. Post, danger, protocol and operational control are all connected there. Still, one question always remains: should the list be short? Should the exemption remain limited only to the most essential offices? This policy debate has been arising from time to time. Some people say that everyone is equal in a democracy, therefore exemptions should be minimum. Some people say that keeping high-risk dignitaries in a queue is not practical and safe. Both arguments have weight. Therefore, the right path is perhaps the middle one, where national security and constitutional protocol are maintained, but unnecessary VIP culture gets no place. If a person takes special access merely because of influence, it sends a wrong message. But if access is received through official protocol and security assessment, its logic is different. For the audience, the suspense of this story is exactly this: how much big planning is hidden behind a tiny car movement visible at the airport. That car is not going just to drop someone off to the plane. Many times, an entire chain of threat assessment, route clearance, escort coordination, and official protocol works behind it. But that same scene also reminds us that trust is the biggest thing in public systems. The clearer the rules are, the more citizens will be able to understand what the difference between exemption and privilege is. For common passengers, the security queue can be troubling, but that same queue is the first wall of aviation safety. The purpose of every tray, every scan, and every check is to keep the flight secure. On the other side, a separate route for dignitaries is sometimes another version of this very safety wall. The only difference is that it happens in a controlled security bubble instead of a visible queue. Therefore, next time a convoy or special movement is seen at the airport, do not just think that someone is getting a facility. Also think that perhaps a security protocol is working quietly. But at the same time, keep this question alive too, that such an exemption remains limited only to the necessity. Because protocol is necessary in a democracy, but the feeling of public equality is equally necessary.
If this video has taught you something new, or if you feel this information should reach more people, don't forget to like and share the video. Your small share can become valuable and useful information for someone else. If you have any questions related to this topic, or if you would like to share your opinion with us, be sure to write in the comment box. We read every question and suggestion from you, because your feedback inspires us to create better content. And if you want to keep receiving such interesting and reliable information about business, the economy, and the world in the future, then don't forget to subscribe to our channel GRT Business and also press the bell icon so that you get notifications of every new video directly. At GRT Business, we always strive to provide you with accurate, balanced, and reliable information. Our news and analysis are prepared based on information obtained from various news agencies, public sources, and public opinion. We make every effort to verify and validate each fact as much as possible. But in case of any possible error or dispute, the responsibility lies with the respective sources. Our only aim is to present you with a correct and trustworthy perspective so that you can understand any topic better.